Okay. So,
Welcome. Today, we will be doing the TML pelvic clock. Uh, Many of you have done this lesson before, so invite you to bring your attention to this lesson as if you were doing it the very first time. What new things you can notice. So please lie on your back and make yourself comfortable. You'll be with your legs long just for a couple minutes. So if you are comfortable with your legs on the mat, please let them rest on the mat. Otherwise, you can put a roller under your knees for now. And as you lie there, feel the distance between your legs. Do they feel comfortable that distance apart? Notice how far your arms are from your body. Is your right arm the same distance away as your left arm? And how is your breathing? Where do you feel it in your body? And as you breathe, do you feel the contact change on the other parts of your body, like your head or your pelvis or your legs? And now take a moment to, with your mind's eye, see your spine. And we're going to start at the very bottom of the spine, the tailbone, deep inside your pelvis where it curves up slightly towards you. And from that point, find where your spine goes up to the top of the pelvis, through the sacrum, and from there to the vertebrae of the lower back. You have five lumbar vertebrae, and then from there towards your middle, seeing if you can feel each vertebrae one by one, going up and up. And notice if there are any blurry spots where you may not feel your vertebrae right now. As you imagine them going up between your shoulder blades, to the back of your neck, and to the base of your head. And notice how your head is connected to your pelvis by this long string of vertebrae, like pearls on a necklace. And feel how you're lying on the ground right now. Do you feel more contact on one side of your body, the left or the right? Thinking about your pelvis, do you feel more of you is touching towards the top of your pelvis or the bottom of your pelvis? And now, slowly and gently, please bend your legs and bring your feet to stand up. Now, gently pull in your belly so that your pelvis lifts up just a tiny bit. As we do this, your tailbone will actually lift from the floor and you'll feel the weight shift to the top of your pelvis. And then bring it back to neutral. And see if you can do the same thing and go a little bit slower, a little bit more gently. I'm going to ask you to continue while I'm speaking. And as you do that, what are you noticing about your body and where you're touching? Do you feel the same amount of weight on the left side of your pelvis as the right when you're doing this movement? As you bring your pelvis up, detaching your tailbone, how far up your vertebrae does the feeling go? Can you feel it all the way up to your head? And please consider this next inquiry while I ask you this, without changing what you're doing. Where is your chin in space? Do you feel it moving a little bit up and down as you move your pelvis? Or is it staying still? And whenever you need to, you can take a rest. And just very subtly been lifting your pelvis, bringing your stomach in. We notice anything different and where you're feeling your back touch the ground. And then as your feet are standing, feel how wide apart your legs are now. And play with the distance between your legs. You can try a little bit farther apart, a little bit closer together. And then let your feet go away from your head towards the edge of the mat. And then closer to your thighs. And now move your feet wherever it feels most comfortable. You're looking for a place where your heels are supporting your legs so that you can hold them up without any effort. And now, letting your belly be free as you exhale, roll the pelvis down. You put more pressure on the tailbone. And then bring your pelvis back to neutral. And as you continue to do this, can you sense any pull on your spine? How about the front of you, the front of your tailbone? Do you feel anything happening where your sternum is? Are the ribs moving along with the movement of your pelvis? And right now, we're just rolling the pelvis down. We're not going rolling it up. And feel as you roll your pelvis towards your feet, do you feel the pressure change on your feet? And in a moment, we're going to combine these two movements, but please take a short rest. And as you lie on the mat, do you feel any change in your breath? Are you breathing into the same parts of yourself or someplace new? And do a quick scan of your vertebrae from the back of your head, the base of your head. Slowly one down between your shoulder blades and your middle spine, your thoracic spine, into your lower back, through your sacrum, and your tailbone. And then if you're ready to bring your knees back up and your feet to standing, please do. And then still, slowly and gently, please bring your belly in and let your back round into the ground so that your pelvis lifts. And now bring it back to neutral. And then gently, slightly arch your back and roll your pelvis forward towards your feet. And slowly and gradually imagine the way the sun rises into the sky and then sets so imperceptibly and gradually. Continue this motion. You're working the most powerful muscles of your body here, your abdominal muscles and your back muscle. And as you do this, imagine you're lying on a clock. 12 o'clock is where your pelvis meets your lower back. 6 o'clock is where your tailbone is when you push your belly out and arch your back. And 3 o'clock is on the left side of your pelvis, and 9 is to your right. And now continue to roll your pelvis up towards 12 o'clock and then down towards 6. And as you do so, when you go up, are you rolling really towards 12, or do you find that it's going slightly in one direction or another? When you rock downwards and push your belly out, are you straight at 6 o'clock? Or maybe somewhere off towards the left or the right? Can your chest soften and help this movement? And when you roll to 6, can you let go of your abdominal muscles? And take a brief rest. Feel how you're lying now. Do the way your arms touch the ground feel the same as when you started? How about your pelvis and your legs? Perhaps your knees are a little closer to the ground, or maybe you still feel some space there. And when you're ready, please bring your legs to standing. And now, using your back and pushing your belly out, move your pelvis to the left. Feel the air go into the left side of your hip so that you roll to 3 o'clock. And after you've done that a couple of times, still taking your time, arch the left side of your back and roll your belly to 9 o'clock. And back. And now you're going between 3 and 9. And see if you can keep your knees pointing towards the ceiling as you do this. We're just arching one side at the back and letting your belly expand on the other. And then doing the same on the other side. Do you feel your ribs moving as this happens? Is there more space? Under your ribs as one side of your pelvis rolls. And then gradually increase the speed. Just roll from 3 to 9 to 3 to 9, 3 to 9, plop, 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 plop. Just gently, lazily, messily. And then stop. Lengthen your legs. Let everything go and take a rest. How do your hands and feet feel now? We've been working with the center of your body, but do you notice any changes of your extremities? How about your neck and your head? When you're ready, please bend your knees again. Bring your feet to standing. And very simply and slowly go from 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock. And does that feel any easier? Do you notice any different in how much or how little your chin is moving? Perhaps it's a little easier than it was earlier. But the pathways of transmission of force have gotten a little freer. And now take your pelvis from 3 o'clock. So you're going to arch the right side of your back and push your belly letting the air go to the left side, and then let it all go and go to the opposite side. Lift your left side and go to 9 o'clock. And try that. Is your belly free? Are your feet helping with this movement? Is your sternum letting go and following the movement of your pelvis? And do this movement a little bit faster, easier, and we'll leave it alone and rest for a moment.
Now, when you're ready, come up to lean on your elbows and forearms. So you're lifting your head off the floor, leaning on your elbows and forearms, putting the soles of your feet together with your knees going sideways. And see if you can spread your hands comfortably on the mat. Now, move your pelvis to 6 o'clock by arching the back, slowly and gently, and then come back to your neutral. 6 and back. And in this position, you may feel that your back has to work harder. So try and be mindful of using your back muscles to really help you do this movement. If your neck gets tight at all, you can rest if you need to. See if your chest is participating in the movement, making it any easier. And now lie on your back and rest for a moment. Sense how you're lying on the mat, which parts of you are touching the mat, which parts of you are more lifted from the mat. And once again, bring yourself up on your forearms and hands. Put the soles of the feet together, the knees apart. And now, bring your pelvis to 12 o'clock, round the back. Bringing your pelvis up towards your head to 12 o'clock, and then back to your neutral. And once you've done this a few times, go from your neutral to 6 o'clock, and back to your neutral up to 12 o'clock. So from 6 o'clock, back and forth to 12 o'clock. And notice here the trajectory that your pelvis takes. If it goes exactly towards 6 and then 12, or if it goes closer to 7 and 1 and rest when you need to. Paying attention to the contact with the floor, how you're breathing, how your pelvis is making contact with the floor. And when you're ready, come back on your forearms and hands with the soles of the feet together. And this time, go to the left to 3 o'clock. And feel whether you can really use your lower back to assist you in this movement. So lifting the right side of your pelvis to shift towards the left to 3 o'clock. As you're doing this, think of your sternum and how it can assist you in the movement. Go to 3 and back. And notice what happens with your head as you do this. And now, shift to roll towards 9 o'clock, rolling your pelvis to the right. Easily, slowly, gently. Notice what happens with your head. Notice if you feel movement in your ribs. And rest for a moment, lying on your back. Now, in this same position, on the forearms and the hands, the soles of the feet together, go gently from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock. And as you do this, compare one side of lifting your pelvis to the other. See if one side is any easier or clearer for you. And now, take your pelvis from 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock. Up and down. And feel if this is any easier or clearer for you than it was when you first did this movement. How far up your back can you use your spine to help you? Roll the pelvis up and down. And have the pelvis go to 6 o'clock while keeping the head upright without throwing the head back down. Just rolling the pelvis to 6 o'clock. And now lie on your back and rest. Now, roll to your side slowly and sit up for a moment. And like this, put the soles of your feet touching one another. You can. Knees out to the side. Lean on your hands behind you this time. If it's difficult for you or uncomfortable in any way, you can lift up your pelvis by sitting on a folded mat or a pad or cushion. So take a moment to feel if you're comfortable or if you'd like to roll something up to try. Okay. Now, like this, roll your pelvis to 6 o'clock. You're placing pressure on your sit bones by doing this. And then return to neutral. Back to 6 o'clock, and then returning to neutral. See if your feet are close to your pelvis. It may be hard to do the movement if it's like that. You want your feet to be where your pelvis has the most freedom. So you can play around and see where to put your feet to make this movement the most comfortable and easy. And now, roll your pelvis to 12 o'clock, backwards, and then back to neutral. Going to 12 and back. And if you need to, take a rest. Now combine the movements of going to 12 and 6 o'clock. So you arch the back, move the pelvis to 6, and then you're pulling the belly in, rounding the back, going to 12. Arching to go to 6, rounding to go to 12. And as you do this, make sure you're leaning on the hands firmly. If you feel any pain in your wrists, you can take rest, or you can lean on your fists. Make sure to be using the muscles of your lower back as you arch and round. And now roll onto your back and rest. And take a moment to see, sense how you're breathing, which parts of you are making clear contact with the floor, how long your spine feels, the length of your legs, arms. You feel any movement in your ribs. And now roll through the other side that you did before and sit up again, please. Putting the soles of your feet together, leaning on your hands again in the back. Now, take your pelvis to 3 and then 9 o'clock. May not be a movement that's typically done, so you can do it gently and slowly and sense what you feel when you do the movement. Feel how one time that you shift your weight, you may twist one shoulder forward and then the other shoulder. Feel how you may get taller when you go to 3 and then taller as you go to 9. See if you can think of this movement as a form of walking. And now lie on your back and rest.
So bend your knees and put your feet standing. Make sure your feet are not standing too far and not too close. So most of the weight is carried by the bones of your legs. So here, go to 6 and 12 o'clock. Go slowly, go gently. Is this movement clear? Is more of your spine involved in this movement? Is more of you showing up or participating in this movement? Now go to 3 and 9 o'clock. Again, slowly, gently, and feel if more of your spine is now involved in this movement, all the way to the 7th vertebrae. I'm sorry, the 7th cervical vertebrae. Not by trying or pushing harder, but just by thinking it, sensing it. And then go to 12. And from there, go to 1 o'clock. And roll your pelvis over onto the 1 o'clock. And go back to the 12 o'clock. And then just go back and forth between these 2 points. You can think of your pelvis like a plate. So you're shifting the point of contact around the edges of this plate. And you're lifting one side of the plate to bring pressure onto another part of the plate. Go to 12, to 1, and then now to 2 o'clock. Just slowly, gently. And then you're going to reverse this movement and return from 2 to 1, and then back to 12. And notice which hours you are sailing through smoother and which ones you are going not so smoothly with. If there's any jumps or hitches, pay attention to your chest as you do the movement. Because if you can remove the tension in the chest, the pelvis will move more smoothly and fluidly. And then leave all of this alone. Lengthen the legs and rest. Just feel how you are lying on the floor. If there are any changes from before. Noticing if there's more of you on the floor now than before. And then bend your knees. Put your feet standing. And now go again from 12 to 1 to 2, and then to 3 o'clock this time. And then you go back from 3, 2, 1, and to 12. So you're making an arc around that upper left section of the clock. When do you round your back when you do this? And when do you arch? Feel the right side of your pelvis as it lifts, as you shift the pressure to the left to roll to the 3 o'clock. And then go ahead and rest, elongating your legs. Again, noticing any changes. If more of you is now lying on the floor. And then go ahead and bend your knees. Put your feet in standing. And then again, go to the 12 o'clock. This time, going to the 11 to the right, and then back to 12. And just do this a couple of times. And then now go from 12 to 11, 10, back to 11, and then to 12 o'clock. If you feel you need to rest at any point in time with any of these movements, feel free to do so. And now at 12, we're going to go to 11, 10, and this time to 9. And then you're going to return, so reverse from 10, 11 into 12. Doing this slowly and gently. Noticing any muscular effort that might be involved in your neck or your jaw, your face, your chest. The space between your eyebrows. And then come to rest. Straighten your legs and rest for a moment. And then again, as you're lying here, notice any changes in how you're lying, making contact with the floor. Go ahead and bend your knees. Put your feet standing. And now slowly go from 12 to 1 to 2 to 3, and then reverse the direction, going back from 3, 2, 1 to 12. And then continue from 12 to 11, 10, 9, and reverse that. So you're doing the upper half of the circle or the clock. And then take a rest when you need to. Noticing any changes. And when you're ready, go ahead and bend your legs. And now go back to the 6 o'clock and to 12 o'clock. And see how this movement feels now. And go slowly, go gently. Thinking about what your chin is doing as you do this movement. Does it feel easier? Does it feel lighter than when you did this before? Feel how much of your chest, your sternum is involved in this movement now. And then see if you can just gently increase the speed of the movement in your own time. Just gently, slowly, perhaps maybe do it a little smaller. And then do it a little faster until you're just rocking your whole self. And feel how much your chin is involved and the head involved in this movement as a response to what is going on in the pelvis. And then take a rest, lengthen your legs. Notice how much of you is making contact with the floor now. Notice the backs of the knees, how they lie on the floor. The right knee, the left knee, under the ankles, the space under the right ankle, the space under the left ankle. And then go ahead and bend your knees and put your feet standing again. And go to 6 o'clock. And so we're going to do now the lower section of the circle here. So you're going to roll your pelvis from the 6 o'clock to 5, and then 4, and then 3. This will be on the left side. Then you're going to reverse and come back to that section from 3 to 4, 5, and then to 6. And then just slowly and gently repeat this movement a few times. And take a rest if you need to. You can keep your feet standing if you wish, or elongate the legs. And now please bend your knees, put your feet standing. And now go from the 6 to the 7 to the 8 and the 9. This is on your right side. And then reverse and come back from 9 to 8, 7, and the 6. And just repeat this slowly and gently a few times. And then rest on your back with your legs long again. And here, sensing any changes you feel now from before. Is more of you on the floor? Go ahead and bend your knees and put your feet standing. Roll your pelvis to 12 o'clock. And then slowly and gently move all the way around the clock. Clockwise, number by number, and making a full circle. Notice how you shift the pressure when you're rounding the back and when you're arching the back. Are there parts of the clock that are easier or more difficult for you to do? Notice if you jump over certain numbers. And if you do, you can go back and forth slowly in that area. Reduce the effort, go slowly, gently, and feel what you need to do to make it smoother. And then just go ahead and rest in the neutral. You can either have your legs long or feet standing. And then again, bend your knees. And this time reverse the direction of the circle, going slowly and gently. Noticing your chin. Noticing how the head responds to this movement. The sternum. And then go ahead and lengthen your legs. Take a rest. Sense and feel how you're making contact now with the floor. Notice your breathing. Notice your state of mind. And then in your own time, bend your knees and then come to roll to your side. Stay on your side for a few moments. And then when you're ready, slowly and gently come up to sit and then to stand. And then just in standing, maybe come onto the floor, come off the mat onto the floor, and just stand and notice yourself in standing. Notice how your feet are contacting the floor. Take a walk around the room, sense your arms, how they're hanging at your sides. Notice how the legs feel, and noticing the overall quality of your movement in walking. Noticing your face, noticing the eyes. And just your overall sense of self now in walking around the room. Okay, so thank you very much, Annie, for being our willing participant for this TML.
Yeah, thanks, Annie.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. It was my pleasure. It was fun. Anytime.
So guys, I'm gonna do this lesson from the recording
Mm.
and see how it feels.
Mhm.
I'm sorry I
Good
went way
idea.
off script. I was like half comfortable and half really nervous.
That sounded really good.
So yeah, I mean we were exactly an hour about. So I will stop the recording and send it to you. And
Perfect.
then maybe we can WhatsApp about when to meet to discuss. And
Mhm.
does that sound good?
Sounds great.
Okay, great.
Amazing.
Sounds
Thank you so
good.
Thank you so
much.
much.
Bye.
Appreciate
Bye.
you guys.
I'm glad we
Okay.
got a chance to go through this, and I felt like it went really except I forgot to turn my audio on, but when I realized
Oh
that
no, I mean, it was just you just
it,
gave her a nice rest. Oh,
yeah, so
Yeah,
I
exactly.
felt like it was streamlined. It went, it felt like it was smooth from one to the other. So
Yeah,
yeah.
thankfully.
Same,
All right,
yeah.
same.
perfect. So we'll
Okay.
be in touch.
Okay,
Okay.
sounds good. Bye,
Enjoy
Bye
your
guys.
bye.
day.
Safe
Bye.
You
travels,
too.
Mia.
Bye.
Bye bye.